I've been following the, I know we're getting really tired of the Multiplex all the time, but I've been following it for some time. I did apply to be on the steering committee. I'm a civil engineer. I have worked in the industry for a significant amount of time, but I'm also an instructor at SciEst. I have significant project management experience and design experience. And I had this dream that this project would be a wonderful example to be able to carry to my students. At this time, I'd have to say the only example I've been using so far is how not to do a project. From my experience, I have never seen anything that it's quite as poorly planned and operated as this. One of the keys here, I think, just in my opinion, is a distinct lack of leadership, virtually from all quarters. I've seen very little leadership from the previous council. I did talk quite often at the meetings that we had. And if I'm doing a project, any kind of project planning, the first thing you need to do is to define your objectives. And I've never really seen the objectives of this project or the suggestion of this project really defined. If I was to guess the definition of the project in terms of its objective, I would wonder whether it seems to build something downtown. And that seems to be the whole direction that we've been going in. And one of the results of this is I see a great deal of influence from special interests that I really wonder if they are the same as the City of Moose Jaw's interests, to put it quite bluntly. Of course, I would love to have been on the steering committee, although there are certainly times when I wonder about that. But in fact, I had pointed out to some people that one of the first things Medicine Hat did was set a steering committee up. And it was a good idea. The trouble is that what's the object of a steering committee? The steering committee is to get a broad representation of views from the community and a broad background from the community. And we have a word in project development, etc. It's called groupthink. It's a tendency that projects can have where you get people of like mind together and reach the typical result of a groupthink, where you get people of the same background, same mind together, is to reach a consensus without critical testing, analyzing, and evaluating ideas. And groupthink has been held responsible for some of the greater disasters that we've had in the world, from the Challenger disaster to the Bay of Pigs to a number of different items. And this is something that I tend to see happening here. As I said, the real objective seems to be to build downtown no matter what we build, no matter how we build it. And if it works, great idea. I can see it being a great idea. But so far, I've seen no consideration of any of the downsides of building downtown. What's the impact on the cultural center going to be? I went to 3 cultural center events last year. I love the cultural center. I love its location. I went to 3 concerts, and each time the Warriors were playing. Now, if the Warriors are playing downtown and I want to go to the cultural center, and you're not going to tell the cultural center to change their nights. They can get their people in when they can. And how far would I have had to walk to get to the cultural center? Where would I have been able to park if the Warriors were playing? That's going to be a very significant impact on the cultural center. There seems to have been from the beginning an ignoring spectator and recreation conflicts. Do you build recreation facilities beside large spectator units? I saw this in Calgary. By the way, I've lived in Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, Seattle, Victoria, so I have a fairly broad background, where you get this conflict. Are you expecting curlers? I used to curl on Friday night before my knees gave away. If I want to go curling when the Warriors are playing, I'm going to have to walk 6 blocks. That happened to me in Calgary because I was curling at the Stampede Center, and we just moved to another place to do our curling. And as a result, the curling closed down as a result of that. If I want to go, and I've had both knees replaced in the last 6 months. If I want to find a place to go walking, are you suggesting that I'm going to go walk 6 blocks to get to that facility so I can go walking because there's no parking, no suggestion, and I have to go when there's nothing on at this. And by the way, that's going to happen in the middle of winter. Everybody says, so what if we have to walk several blocks to go to these? It's in the middle of winter that this is happening. If it was summer, I'm not going to go there to go walking. It seems foolish. I've noticed an overemphasis of this elusive spin-off. What is the spin-off? I would really like to see someone besides say, hey, this is going to be great for the community, great for us, there's going to be great spin-offs. What spin-offs that wouldn't be there from any other facility built? But the thing that finally turned me, and you asked me if I had anything, but you all have these, was as an engineer when I saw the soils report. The soils report for the downtown site that has alluvium. If you don't know what alluvium is the product of flooding. So, I mean, recognize it's on a floodplain to start off with. Alluvium is an absolutely terrible thing to try and build on. Very poorly consolidated, very fine. Okay, sand. Okay, so we got submerged, fine-grained, silty sand. Well, maybe there's something else. And then we hit bear's paw shale. It fractures, it swells. It's really nasty stuff. If I'm an engineer advising, I'd say, I look at that and I'd say, find somewhere else to build. If I'm an engineer working for the construction company, I say, extras. Oh boy. Because this is nasty stuff. I've not seen a lot of material like this. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to spend money. I understand Mr. Schwinghammer's comments in terms of go ahead and spend the money. But we're now going to delay again further and further in terms of building this facility while we study a place that we darn well know is polluted to find out what are we going to do with the pollution. What is the league saying about this at this time? And I don't know if you know, or I'm certainly aware of the fact that right now there's a 5,000-seat arena being built in Penticton that will be ready next fall. And they're just anxious to get a team. I don't know what the league says about this, but I just know that they're anxious to get a team. And if we're 6 months from now still wondering whether we can clean that site up, what do you think is going to happen? The funny thing is, I went to a meeting of the committee the other day, and the one key that they said is we need the Chilliwack Arena. That's beautiful. And I agree. I happened to see the Vernon Arena when I was visiting, and I walked into it, and I said, boy, would I like to have that in Moose Jaw. Beautiful structure. But I remember a little more than a year ago a motion to build the Chilliwack Arena at the Civic Center site. And a week later, a group of people came here and literally pounded council down till they backed off it. And just think of where we'd be if we'd have built the Chilliwack Arena at the Civic Center site a year ago. I think it's time to thank the builders, thank the steering committee, and get a fundraising committee together. By the way, Medicine Hat is fundraising, and they haven't got the foggiest idea where they're building and what they're building. And get at it. I think it's long past time to get at it. I'm so disappointed that we didn't a year ago. Just think of where we'd be right now. Thank you.